Thank you so much, Edwina, for joining me for another moment with the mayor. And we're here with you to talk about Women's History Month, to celebrate Women's History Month, but the role that women have played in your life and your leadership.
Thank you, Mayor. It's great to be here. It's great to see you again, and this feels like home.
I know. It's so nice to see you and have you here again. We haven't seen each other for a while because of COVID, but we haven't even been here in City Hall.
And thank the Lord I've gotten my vaccines.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the role that women have played in your leadership development.
Okay, I was raised in the 40s and 50s. So at that time, as I was telling you before, there were hardly any Latina role models. You know, the one role model that we had was my neighbor who worked for Social Security. And that didn't require college education, you know. But I remember that I went from Catholic school to public school. When I got to public school, I felt lifted up because there was a woman there named Mamie Broyles, and she taught English and literature. And you know, she'd sit behind the desk and then have a chair here for the student. And she'd look over your papers and she'd do this and that. It was one-to-one to everyone in that class. And there were times when she'd give me a lower grade. I mean, one time she said, you know, she said, I'm really disappointed in you. And I said, you know, why? Well, she said, you're capable of A work, and you gave me B work. That's why I'm going to give you a C. And boy, I thought, like, is this a compliment or what? So, I mean, she challenged me. And she just, you know, like when we did book reports, you know, she'd say, who's going to do the oral book report? And then she'd look at me. So I'd get up and I'd do mine and you know, get it over with. I don't have to be scared for, you know. So she was just great without being, you know, hovering or being lovey-dovey or anything like that. She just saw something in me and built me up and helped build me up.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then, and really it's been, you know, and most of my mentors have been white women, white men, because like I said, when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of people in leadership.
Yeah, I mean, there probably wasn't even a lot of women, period, in leadership roles either, much less women of color.
Exactly. So then I started getting more involved in the community, and my first campaign was with Joseph Montoya. He was running for the Senate and running for re-election. And then after that, I kind of followed, you know, people that I liked and that had an interest in me, and I had an interest in them. And, you know, because I was always wanting to grow and learn a lot. When I was growing up, we had no books in the house. And like I said, I went to Catholic school, so we were not encouraged at all, you know, to move on to believing ourselves, to, you know, to invest in ourselves. But my mother was the best role model, I think. She used to work at a laundromat, at a laundry. And she earned $12.50 a week.
Wow.
Yep. And so, I mean, she was great. She was great. I looked up to her for everything. And, you know, and usually your parents are your first mentors.
Yeah.
But then came to Minnesota, and I got involved in the community, and I ran into Jan Bray, who said, why don't you come to our political party? And she said, we have no minorities at all. I said, boy, what an incentive. I said, okay. So I did go, and there I met, you know, the establishment and Sue Sandal, and you know, and Sue Sandal said to me, because I did the an endorsement speech for Mike Freeman. And I said, I've never spoken before a large group, you know, and it was maybe 3,000 people there. And so she said, well, okay, my knees were just knocking, literally knocking. And she said, as long as you're standing on your feet, as long as you don't throw up, as long as you don't pass out, that's a victory, that's success. And so look at it that way, you know. And then she told me, and that from now on, anytime you have an opportunity to speak, even though you don't have much to say, just to get over that fear.
Wow, and now look at how it's changed. You have so much to say. And I have to say, Edwina, please stop talking. I'm just kidding.
So that was in the old days. Then I met Gertrude Ulrich too, and Gertrude put me into the Land Use Advisory Committee of the Met Council, in the Chair's Advisory Committee for the Met Council, in the Minority Issues Committee at the Met Council, and the Land Use.
Wow.
I don't know if I mentioned that yet. So anyway, so that's how that's what I tell young women, you know, get involved, get to know more about your community, get to know more about your peers, get to know more about your leaders, you know, get informed. And a lot of people think that, you know, it's somebody else's role to inform you, but it really isn't. It goes back and forth. And if you can't, you know, have that type of relationship with somebody, you're not ever going to find a mentor. And now it's totally different for you.
Well, and I would say you've mentored so many women, including myself, but it sounds like...
And you've been the most difficult.
I know, I'm sorry. But, you know, that role of mentorship is so important. It really does help you decide if you want to be a leader or not. It gives you the support that you need, the tools that you need, and it, you know, you're a living example of that, but also you've mentored so many women, and there's countless women that are in office and in leadership because of you. But it just goes to show the importance as an individual that you can have on somebody and in a whole community for supporting their leadership. So I'm very thankful for your mentorship and for your support. But I know that there's so many women in Richfield alone, but not just in Richfield, that have been supported by you. And we thank you for your work and for your support.
Oh, you know, it's been a pleasure. Gosh, if we had more women in leadership, I think we'd get more things done, because I don't think women tend to be as partisan as men do. So at least that's been my experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, are there any last things you want to share about leadership, about your work?
Well, I met Luz Maria Frias at the house. And I met a lot of people, because I belonged to the elected officials that were people of color. And I was the only Latina at the time. Later I was joined by Carlos Mariani. And I remember one of the things that, I tell you about how we work back and forth. Well, we had the Latino community come in, and this friend that I had worked with at the university, well, he said, you have to do this and you have to do that for your community and this and that, and just like putting all this pressure on me, like I have to be, and I just had gotten there, so it was my first term. And I finally, I try to be calm, but it doesn't always work. But I said, you know what, Paul? I said, you did not call me when I was running. You did not invest in my campaign. You did not door knock for me. You didn't drop literature. You didn't make phone calls. So, you know who my community is, those that brought me to the dance, and that's my constituency. And I will do for them. They are number one. And so then all of a sudden, people thought, well, geez, that's really good. And And I've made so many good friends and just wonderful, wonderful women. Like here in Richfield, you know, look at Emily Day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's passed away, I don't know how many, 5 years ago maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was a teacher of the year. She was just a wonderful, wonderful mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you see, like Mary Supple, I think wants to be like Emily Day, because you're around kids all the time, and you're always wanting to be supportive and to, especially to me, I think there's a lot of people that are looking for someone that they know has some gift, talent, or you know, something to contribute, and they nurture that with that individual.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things when you first start meeting with people or whatever, I don't do that now, but usually I say just listen to what people have to say and ask questions and get informed and get involved. And that's my advice.
So to wrap us up, how is retirement? How has retirement been the past few months?
It's been really great.
Good.
I have not come to City Hall. This is probably my second time at City Hall since December.
Wow.
And I've gotten involved. I got involved in the Metropolitan Area Agency on Aging, so I'm on their board of directors. I'm going to be on the board of directors of Joan Harrison Nursing Homes.
Great.
And then I joined PMAC.
Great. Oh my gosh. So you're not slowing down at all. You're just putting your energy in other areas.
That's right.
Good.
That's right. No, it's been great. You know, I mean, I really had to detach myself from City Hall and just say I'm not going to get involved in anything. I'm not going to tell people what to do. I'm not going to give advice. Nothing. I'm just going to you know. What do you give advice? What do you advise women?
I advise women to be themselves oftentimes, and
Absolutely.
I think you and I have talked about this in the past. Your leadership comes out the strongest when you can be yourself and be comfortable in your own skin. And the second you're trying to play a role, whether it's mayor or any other role, you lose that authenticity, you lose that leadership strength.
Right.
And so I always advise women to just be themselves, and that's how they can be the strongest leader.
And whether you join boards and commissions and whatever, you know, that's how you pick up, you know, skills.
Absolutely.
And I was on the Charter Commission, the HRA, Human Rights, Community Services Commission. So that's where I learned a lot. You know, you pick up skills and you can learn an awful lot about the community, yourself, and other citizens.
I think we have here in Richfield, we have strong women leaders. We've had a lot of strong women leaders over our history, and we have a lot of strong female leadership now. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for your leadership, and I know that many women can say that. You have really grown so many leaders, and we're very thankful for you. So I appreciate you taking this time to connect with me. But we want to lift you up, celebrate you, and thank you for all that you've done, for being a leader, but for growing the leadership of so many.
Right.
So thank you, Edwina.
Oh, anytime. And anytime that I can be of any help to anyone that wants to learn about politics or the city, or, you know, like when they apply for a commission, whatever, you know, I'd be glad to help anyone.